Question 41. In this question, we are given that the 9 squares in the given figure are to be filled with x and o's only. Okay. So how many of the squares will contain an x? So this is what we need to find out. So this is a regular data sufficiency kind of problem, and we need to figure out these 3 questions. Okay. So what is the first question? I need to find out what I need to find out. I need to find out that how many of the squares will contain x. Many squares containing x. Okay. What do I know? I know that the boxes can be filled with either an x or an o. Okay. And there are total of 9 boxes or squares, and I know this figure. Okay. What else do I need to know? If I know that out of 9, how many are o's, then I can figure out x. Or directly, if I know how many are x, then I can figure out. I also know that x plus o is equals to 9. Okay. So if I figure out the value of o, then it is sufficient enough to answer my problem, or x directly is sufficient enough to answer the problem. So let us jump to statement 1. Statement 1 says that more than half of the number of squares will contain an o. Okay. So more than half. Okay. So more than half, which means that number of o's will be more than half of 9, which is 4.5. So o will be greater than 4.5, but o can be either 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Depending upon that, x can be either 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 or 0 also. Okay, so these are all the possibilities. So we are not getting any definite answer for x. Okay, so AD will be gone because statement 1 is not sufficient, that how many boxes will contain an x. Okay, so let us take statement 2. Statement 2 says that each of the 4 corner squares will contain an x. So we will have an x at each of the 4 corners. Okay, corners are x, but this doesn't give any data that whether central will be x or this will be x, or any number of x's we can have. Okay, over here also. So this statement is also not sufficient to answer our problem. Why? Because there can be as many number of x as possible. Okay, so x can be greater than 4. This is what this statement is saying, which is not sufficient enough to answer our problem. So whenever statement 1 and statement 2 both are not sufficient, we club both of them. If we club both of them, we get that o is greater than 5 or 4.5 to be precise, and at least 4 corners are x. Okay, so at least 4 corners are x, and the least number of o's are 5. Okay, and at least 4 are x, which means that x greater than 4, greater than or equal to 4, I would say, equal to here also. Okay, it is not greater than, it is greater than or equal to, because it can be greater than, right? But it is equal, it can be equal to 4 also. So x can be greater than or equal to 4, and o has to be greater than 4.5. So there is only one possible combination, that there are 5 o's here and there are 4 x's at the corner. So 4 of the squares will contain x. So this is sufficient enough to answer our problem. Whenever statement 1 and statement 2 together are sufficient enough to answer our problem, then the correct answer is option C. I hope it is clear.